Let's get an update on the progress in terms of maintenance now. I'm joined by Makenosi Maroo, who is the Rand Water spokesperson. Now, Makenosi, thank you so much for the time. I suppose the basic question here is, how close are we to full restoration of water within the city of Johannesburg?
Good afternoon, Warabile. Good afternoon to your viewers. Warabile, you'll recall that we had two projects that we undertook on the 13th. So one was for Zwartkopjes system, the other one was for the Eikenhof system. So we have completed the Zwartkopjes system because it took about 36 hours. We were well ahead of schedule, so everything has been completed. Some areas are getting water as we speak. Now we are working on the last project, which was a bigger project. We were working on the engine rooms, the Eikenhof system. So now we are left with a couple of hours. Some areas, as I'm saying, even for the Eikenhof system, are beginning to get water. Water is trickling in the system.
You say a number of hours. Are you able to perhaps detail just at least approximation with regards to that?
As I'm saying, some areas are beginning to get water today, but for me, it's difficult to say in an hour's time, 2 hours' time. Remember, we have high-lying areas and low-lying areas. The low-lying areas are the ones that are getting water as we speak. So with the high-lying areas, it will depend on the low-lying areas. As soon as they are getting water, then we move to the high-lying areas.
Are you able to detail for us what exactly these two projects primarily have then gone on to achieve or will have achieved, particularly for Rand Water? Would that mean a cleaner system? Will that mean that facilities are perhaps just better run and kept up to date? And why is this unable to be done without the closure of water and for so long?
All right. The reason why we took this project, actually it's two of them, we're really trying to enhance our system. We want to ensure that the system is always available, our system is reliable, and more importantly, it's efficient. So what we did with the Zwartkopjes one, we were changing and repairing the B1 and B2 pipeline. They were leaking at Zwartkopjes. So that is what we did for 36 hours. And then with the Eikenhof one, we were actually interlinking the engine rooms, which is quite a big project. The reason why we are working on the engine rooms, we want them to work together. So if one engine room is not working, the other two will be able to carry the one that is not working, meaning the system will work for longer, it will be sustainable, it will be efficient. Hence, we had to undertake this project. And one would ask, why does it take so long? I mean, if you have to think of engine rooms, those are big. There are systems in there. There are valves that are big that needs to be managed. There are project managers. There are engineers and technicians. They need to give each other space in terms of project management and ensuring that we complete this project without any delays, without actually incurring any more cost.
I believe that, there are more than just these two projects at play, perhaps as well for Rand Water. Are there other areas that you're looking to do this sort of thing on as well? And does that mean that you will be having a few more water shortages in other areas of the city as well? Or does this complete that process for the time being?
This completes the process for the year 2024. So with regards to maintenance, we will always have maintenance as Rand Water. We have committed to ensure that we maintain our infrastructure. Remember, Rand Water is a company, it's 121 years old. So we really need to be looking after our infrastructure, changing what needs to be changed, whether it's a valve, we're looking at an engine room, we are cleaning a reservoir. So there will be maintenance from time to time. What is important is to communicate. What is also important is for us to work closely with municipalities to ensure that if we are unable to supply water due to maintenance, they are there with water tankers and we communicate precisely where are the water tankers. I think that what's frustrating for our residents is they don't know what is happening. We need to be sharing more information, which is precisely what we're trying to do.
Makenosi, are you able to tell us how often this sort of thing happens? And I make the example of a vehicle, for example, that once you get it, you perhaps go for a service or maintenance of some sort after 15,000, after 30,000, after 45,000 kilometers, so to speak, and you kind of know that process beforehand. Is there such a thing as well for Rand Water and for its facilities? Are we able to determine when these sort of things will happen in advance?
Right. We are able to, because we have a planning team with regards to maintenance. So we have the 4 systems. We have Zwartkopjes, we have Mapleton, we have Eikenhof. So we look at each system, what needs to be done for that particular system. So the team will plan what needs to be done, how long it's going to take us, and what will be the cost. Then we move to the next system. But obviously we have to communicate. But what is more important is that our pipelines, we have a pipeline that is over 3,500 kilometers. So you can imagine how long the pipeline is. So when we do maintenance or when we start planning for maintenance, we have to go and check where are the challenges, what is leaking, what needs to be replaced. So it's very difficult for us to say it would be every month, it would be after every 6 months. We look at what needs to be happening, so that will be your planned maintenance. Sometimes we have unplanned maintenance because things do happen. I mean, the infrastructure is old, it needs to be replaced.
Makenosi, I appreciate your candor in this because it offers great communication, as you're making note of then for residents as well. Are you able to detail the cost of this last planned maintenance?
For this one, we will be able to know once we have completed the maintenance. You know what it is. If you take your car for maintenance, you have budgeted a certain amount. You'll be called by a dealership to say, okay, we have done 1, 2, 3. We've added 1, 2, 3 in terms of what needed to be added. So we will know once we have done with the whole total cost once we've completed both projects. But normally we do budget for 5 years in terms of maintenance, 5 billion. So we know that that would be for maintenance for the next 5 years.
So ultimately, there's no way to determine per project until the end of the project, but you do have maintenance funding for 5 years. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. We do have cost estimates, but sometimes we don't come out through as saying we have budgeted, for example, 1 billion for this project. If you have to cost it towards the end of the project, it might be more, it might be less. So we do costing for each project that we do.
Will you be able to detail that as well at the end of this process as well? And I hope that we'll be able to get that information. Makenosi, let me just ask you about water security, if I may. I know this is not just a broader South Africa question that I can just ask you, but with regards to your facilities, your abilities to run the water systems across your region and your area as well, how safe and secure is South Africa's water security as well then as just the health thereof and the strength of how good our water is as well?
All right. Well, Rabile, just speaking for rainwater, I can say we are confident. We understand our system. We look after our system. Obviously, we maintain our system. Every year we test and we do get the reports, the blue drop reports, indicating the quality of the water that we supply. We also, as we purify water, we test our water every hour to ensure that we supply high quality that people can drink. So we are comfortable with the water that we are supplying. With regards to shortage, people have been asking, are we reaching a point where we say there's going to be a crisis in Gauteng and other provinces that we supply? We're saying we don't have a challenge or a shortage of water. The challenge, it's the consumption. There's enough water, but we are consuming as residents.
So wait, let me get that right. I'm sorry. Does that mean we have enough water, but we're consuming too much water? Is that the notion?
That's correct. If you have to compare us with other countries, we are consuming almost double what other countries are consuming. Just to give you in Gauteng, we are consuming close to 300 liters per person per day. In other countries, they are consuming 173. Other countries, it's even less. Others is more. But just for Gauteng, we are close to 300 liters per day per person. So that tells you we are really going overboard. We need to, one, look into water conservation. We have campaigns where we are really trying to encourage residents and municipalities to conserve water, to look after the water. I mean, we know that it's a scarce resource. We need to look after that resource. But also, we are not blaming residents, saying they are over-consuming. There are other reasons. We know there's vandalism. We know that there is illegal mining. So there are other reasons. There are leaks in the system. So it's not just us blaming residents. There are other reasons. But if you have to look at the bigger picture, we'll say it's consumers that are over-consuming, let me put it that way.
Yeah, so a lot of work then would need to be done in order to bring that figure down. If we're going to average around that 173 from 300, that's a big drawdown to bring down our consumption. How do we deal with those wastages that we are facing then as a country? I know you've just made note of a few elements as well, but does that mean we need to get some sort of enforcement going?
Yes, we are working with law enforcement with regards to vandalism, illegal mining. That we are working with law enforcement agencies, and with regards to leaks in the pipelines, I know that municipalities are working hard. They do have budget. Some of them, they do have budget. They are repairing. They're ensuring that we don't have those leaks. In other areas, we know that we have settlements, whether it's informal, whether it's formal. We need to be planning if we have to be having new settlements in an area to say if there is a new settlement, there's going to be a school, there's going to be a church, there is going to be a need for water. So those are part of planning. And I know that we are working also with the MEC for Kokta. So these are the things that we talk about, we plan for, and we are ensuring that Gauteng and other provinces, they continue having water.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that because property development is also very significant to the changes in water consumption in particular areas, just whether it be in the form of infrastructure and consumption too. So that matters a lot. But Makenosi, that's all the time we have, unfortunately. But thank you so much for joining us. And I think that update, very crucial, very important. A couple of hours to go, ultimately, is the note there from Makenosi Maroo, the Rand Water spokesperson, with regards to the shortage of water, the projects that they're undergoing right now with regards to the maintenance then of the water projects in and around Gauteng, of course, the Eikenhof project being the key one that, of course, is being focused on. Zwartkopjes being completed thus far. So hopefully all will be completed by the end of today.